Welcome to beta number two edition of the Ryan Swanstrom Show. Thanks for being here. My name is Ryan Swanstrom, and this show is, I called it a dev chat show. So, this is a show for developers to get together and chat, check up on what's the latest in the tech world and what's the latest in the news pertinent to developers and kind of developer related type of people, maybe some data science type of stuff in there, maybe some UX things in there, maybe some ML type of work in there. But that's what the show is about. And I'm calling this beta number two because I just started this on Monday. It's Wednesday now, but uh, that's what the show is about. And today on the show, we have our big question of the day, which I will get to shortly. If you happen to be here in the chat, please jump into the chat, leave a comment. And you know what? I'm just going to jump out here and get the question of the day coming across right there. Where do you find your tech news? So jump into the chat and tell me what your answer to that is. While we do that, I'm going to bring up some places, some websites, and I need to update a few of my social networks with that question of the day. So, first place I'm going to go type that is out into Threads, one of my favorite social networks recently. Threads, you can find me threads/Ryan.Swanstrom. And then you can find me and follow my account there. So that's a good thing to do. I'm going to hit post on where do you find your tech news out on Threads. Then I'm going to go to LinkedIn and post the same question out onto LinkedIn. I guess I didn't even check. Can people hear my voice and everything? You probably can't answer that. You can. The audio is working out there, so that's good to know. Let me jump out into a LinkedIn post. So we're going to put that out there. But now what I wanted to do is I wanted to go out to YouTube and find a link and share this over on, where would it be? Over on Threads so that people can find the show. Ooh, there we go. Let me just check that everything is working on YouTube as well. Awesome. Let me come out here to the comment section. Let me type, welcome to the show. Got to mute that on the other screen. So, yes. All right. Hey, it does work. It sends that message out to YouTube. I don't think it sends that message out to LinkedIn. Okay. But if you're out on YouTube watching the show, you should be able to see comments coming back from me. I'm going to monitor. If you ask questions, I will be able to see them on my screen. But on LinkedIn, it doesn't take the comments that I type in on my side. It doesn't send them back out to LinkedIn. Let me try this now. Let me go back to Threads. Hold on, folks. Let's just leave that thread. Let's try again. Hold on. I just typed a message out into Threads to see what was going on. And I said, hey, if you are free, stop by my live show this morning. Jump in the chat and say hello. You don't need to stay for the whole show. So I'm going to post that out to Threads. We're going to see if anybody from Threads comes on over to say hello to us. But let's get back into the run of the show that we had here. I did want to do the welcome. I kind of need to come up with a tagline for myself in maybe the beginning of my show or right at the intro, something that I say, welcome to the Ryan Swanstrom show about blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what that blah, blah, blah is, but hopefully in the future, I'll be able to come up with that and figure out what that should be and what that means. So I'm going to work on that, but that's why these are still called beta shows, because I don't have everything figured out, and I don't know how long we will be in beta before I make the Ryan Swanstrom show an official show. I should maybe come up with some guidelines and some criteria for what makes it an official show and what makes it just a beta show, so that I know when I get above that. But here's what I typically want to do on my show. I want to have a little bit of an intro. Then I want to quickly go over the tech news of the day. And this brings us totally into our topic for the day of what are we going to talk about? And I wanted to be able to have the tech news of the day show up every day. And I want to be able to have this, but I don't want to spend a ton of time searching for this tech news and searching for different, tech articles on programming languages and software development. So what I've come up with is, Microsoft Azure has this functionality in it, which they call the Bing News Search. So there's an API from Bing. And I know some of you are like, what's this Bing thing? So there's a search engine in the world called Google. And then a competitor to the search engine from Google, Microsoft made their own competitor, which is called Bing. And it's a search engine, and it's just there. It's the default. It used to be the default on all of the Internet Explorer browsers, but it's still out there. Anyhow, Bing News is a thing, and there's an API you can call. And with that API, you can get back news based on, you can send it a topic for news that you're looking for, and you can send it a time frame like the last 24 hours or the last week, and it'll bring you back news from that time frame. So I thought it would be a great idea if I just wrote myself some code to go call the Bing News API and get back my news of the day. Then I thought it would be really great if I could just put this on a web page, or if I could email this news to myself. But then I thought, well, if I'm going to email it to myself, I wonder if anybody else would want to sign up to get this email from the tech news of the day. Anyhow, so it became a much larger thing. But in essence, I just wanted to call the Bing API and get news based on various different topics that I would like to highlight and search through. So that's what brought me into what I'm working on today, I guess. And what we're going to be building out on the show is, how can we work through that? Okay, so I have the question of the day. Right. Okay. Before I bring up my IDE and before we start doing some coding, I don't know how much coding we're going to do, but I'm going to play around with the search terms that I send the Bing News. So if you have some thoughts on what I should search for and what type of news I should bring up, this would be the time to do it. But before that, I wanted to highlight my Threads dev interviews that I was doing on Threads this week. So I'm a big user of the new Threads social media platform from Meta. I really do like it. One of the things I've been doing on there is I find developers who use the Threads platform, and then I interview them on Threads. So it's text based. In the morning, I ask them their first question. When they're free, they respond. And then, I provide a follow up question or an entirely new question. And it goes back and forth throughout the day. I interview these people. When they're free, they answer. When I'm free, I ask the next question. And it is honestly, it's provided a fairly unique way to do interviews on social media. And I think the people on social media out there are enjoying it. It's a format they kind of like because they don't have to leave Threads to, catch up with the interview. But yesterday on the show, I had JSN TLR, name is Jason, but he is a design focused CTO. So a lot of our interview yesterday focused on design and what are aspects of design that maybe people aren't thinking about as much. And ethics and accessibility was one of the things he mentioned in there. But he talked a little bit about how his career got him into design and how he sees the designers and developers working together, to create better outcomes. So it was kind of a cool interview yesterday. I had a good time with it. There was a number of positive comments that came in from other readers of the interview. They liked it as well. So that was a good one. Tomorrow, I have one that I'm pretty excited about, but I got to jot down a note. Tomorrow, I am talking with L Unchained, who is a writer. It is our first non-developer type of person to have on the show. But right now on Threads, we have discovered that the writers and the developers are their groups are overlapping a little bit. And so the developers are seeing some writing news and the writers are seeing some developer news. So I thought it would be a good idea. Let's invite a writer onto the interview series and have a chat with them. So it's going to be fun to talk to L tomorrow about probably creative processes, why writers and developers seem to get along very well, tips for better writing, tips for where do you get your inspiration to do your writing. So it'll be good stuff tomorrow on Threads. Anyhow, if you happen to be here, if you happen to have just joined in or stopped by the show, jump in the chat, say hello, and you can answer the question of the day if you want to, but just jump in the chat and say hello and tell me how things are going. I'm checking out on Threads or just checking out on my phone right here. Yes. All right. Okay, so here's the problem I wanted to build a solution for. I want to get my tech news all the time, and I don't want to spend a lot of time searching the internet to find it. So I thought maybe I should call the Bing News API and just bring the news in. But then I thought, where do I want this news to show up? I could have put it into my WordPress webpage, but I was looking at some plugins that allow you to do this, and it didn't seem really super simple. I also wasn't sure that I want a daily news page on my blog. So another idea I thought was a good idea was I thought maybe I'll just build another webpage and I'll, subdomain it under my domain. I'll make it newsfeed.ryanswanstrom.com. and I can put the news on there. So I will need a very simple front end website that can post, or they can make a call out to the Bing News API and return back some news. But I gotta see. So this is one of my Threads friends over here, Zvonimir. I'm trying to say your name, Zvonimir. How did I do on your name? But thanks for stopping by. Zvonimir is one of those people from Threads. We are pretty well connected on Threads. We've even chatted a little bit off of Threads. So thanks, Zvonimir, for stopping by the show. Oh, Zvonimir says I did perfect on that. Thank you. That is good. Well, thanks for stopping by the show. Here, I forgot to stream this across the bottom. Anyhow, that is what I wanted to build and develop. I was like, I need to build a very simple web page to show the news of the day. But then I thought, if I'm going to be pulling this news out, my thought was then I can just refer and just reference this page in my live show when I want to see what the news of the day is, and I can quickly, screen share that web page and quickly talk about those news articles every day. But I thought also I could put an email sign up screen on that page for anybody else that wanted these news articles just automatically sent to, their email every day or every week. But the idea got a little bit bigger than that. But that was the thought and idea. And so I started thinking about what are some front end platforms that I can use to just build a very simple website, host it somewhere, and make API calls out there. There are a number of there are a number of places where you can host a very cheap or low cost website like this. And I asked a question on Threads and I got a ton of answers. And I may turn those answers into a blog post because I just want to make a list of here's all the places you can host a very, very simple web app for free or very low cost. I found it interesting. There were so many out there that I didn't know about. So I might put those together to share. But I think Azure static web apps is probably the way I'm going to go because I'm already familiar with a number of the Azure tools. I just haven't used static web apps before, but I think I can do everything in a front end website if I want to. But I thought maybe I should make my static web app over here kind of just run on its own. And then I could have in Azure, it's called an Azure function that runs once a day and goes out and gets the day's daily news. And then my website, whenever somebody visits it, it just reaches back and calls the information from this Azure function over here. So that was my thought about how I would tie those two together. I also thought my Azure function could run once a day and it could write things out to a JSON file or something. And then my website over here could just make a call and read that JSON because then it would kind of be cached for 24 hours. I don't know. I had a number of different ideas on that. So Zvonimir, I have to ask you a question. Where do you find your latest, greatest tech news every day? I found that I just used to go to a bunch of different websites, and I think I'd appreciate it more if I could just go one place and get the list and know they are there. But I wanted to open up VS Code over here because I think anyhow, so let me do a little screen share here because I can do this. Whoa, look at that. Wow. There's all these different formats. It's been a while since I have screen shared as a live streamer. That is really hard to read. Let me try this, folks. We're going to try something a little different. I don't know that that's a whole lot different. If I do this, Zvonimir, can you read anything? Can you read any of the code that is on that screen? And Zvonimir says this is where he gets his news. Threads, X, don't say it, Zvonimir. You got to stop using that X platform. And Google Alerts. I've never set up those Google Alerts for any of the news places. And email. All those seems to make sense. And I would say I find my news currently kind of from the same places, but I just wish it all came packaged together in one spot. It's Svonimir says it's a little blurry, but doable. Let's see, this is why we're beta. This is why we're beta here. All right. I all of a sudden forgot how to change the themes. Color theme, light modern. Is that easier to see now that it's set to light? And what I don't know here is how do I don't know if there's a way to just make the font and everything a little bit larger so that everybody can see. I don't even know where that would be. Help. View. The streaming quality tops out at 720. Oh, I wonder if I have that set up. I know why I have that set up at 720 because I used to stream at Amazon all the time, and they only accepted streaming quality of 720. So I have not changed StreamYard to up that quality to 1080p. That would be a good idea. So here, I'm going to write myself a note for that. Stream at 1080. I maybe could stream at 4K, but I don't think that that's going to work. Vonimir says, so that's part of the issue, probably. That is true. And Control plus plus. Oh, I clicked Control plus plus while highlighted the wrong screen. Oh, man. And then Control minus makes it smaller. Oh, Zvonimir, you're genius today. Genius. There, I think that right there just looks a little bit better. So there is our trick of the day. Zoom is Control plus plus as far as I know. Well, thank you for that. Okay. Here's what I tried to do just the other day. I kind of started it Monday before the show. Then I did a live show on Monday and hide the terminal. I don't totally want to hide it. It looks a little bigger on your screen. See, I got to get better at this. All these things that I don't normally do when I develop stuff, but now I got to figure out how to do them. So how do I hide it? But then I want it to show up once I run things. Oh, that's big. What does this mean? I clicked the wrong thing. I don't know what I just did here. I don't need all these. I can delete this one and that one. All right, so that's probably good enough. Yeah, I wanted to know how I can hide that. It's probably up here. I got to figure out how to do all these things. So if I hide that, anyhow, I do like, yeah, use a separate idea or separate window for the terminal. It totally makes sense. See, this is why I decided to call this week beta edition, because I knew that once I started live streaming with code, I did a lot of live streaming before, but I talked about printers and paper shredders and stuff like that, which was physical products I could hold up. I didn't do a ton of screen sharing. I also know that once you start coding and screen sharing at the same time, there's just all these things that I didn't think of that I was going to have to pay attention to: the size of the font and what things you don't want to hide on your screen and all that. So that's why it's beta week. We're going to figure some of these things out. So thanks, Zvonimir, for helping me out with these. So I have some code. This was largely just copy pasted from the Microsoft Help website for using the Bing API. It comes in here and you get a subscription ID for it. And I have that linked into an environment variable. You have to specify the endpoint because there are different versions and different endpoints that they use. I guess the version is set over there, but the endpoint has gone from cognitive services to Azure, and that URL has changed a little bit. Your query string is quantum computing. Then you just set things up. And right down here is where you make your web request. You send your URI query. And I specify a few things at the end. Freshness equals day. That means give me the news for the last day. Market is ENUS. And count, I said, just give me the five top articles in the last day for the US market. And I guess my search query here, I had quantum computing in it because that was the last thing I was trying. And it makes this API call. I get the information back. And then down here, I'm parsing through that JSON, trying to pull out the name of the article, the link to the article, and I think I give a description and the date that it was published. So I'm going to run this and we'll see if it works. I guess when it runs, it automatically brings up this terminal. So we're going to even make that bigger. I kind of wish I could figure out how to have that terminal pop up. Can I do this? Can I have the debug console? Can I have the problems appear up to the right? I don't know. I think this is going to work. Anyhow, this is what ran and came back. So here is the news. We got a top news story that says quantum computing will be here soon, but are we ready for it? And then here is your description: being quantum safe requires investment in identifying quantum risk. So that works. Here, see, we got all these tricks that I don't use VS Code evidently enough, or I don't want to do these things. All of a sudden, I can't show your comments on the screen anymore, Zvonimir. I don't know what that's all about. But let's try Control Plus. Backtick to toggle the terminal. I do not know what just happened there, but all of a sudden, my live stream just quit working. And now Zvonimir says must be some collision with some StreamYard feature. I have a feeling that was the case. I closed down VS Code and then closed out of my browser and got back into StreamYard. So I that was maybe the case, but StreamYard did tell me I got an error message that said you don't have internet connection, which I do. I'm wired in to the internet, so I don't know what happened, but we will roll along with it. I'm going to try this again. We're going to try Visual Studio Code again because it happened shortly after I ran that program. So we're going to try it again. We're going to try to run the program again and see what happens. So let's go to present, screen share, window. Thanks for being here, Vonimir, for looking through some of this stuff. So let's run this again, and if the stream freezes up, pretty good indication that is related to StreamYard. So we will try this again, see what happens. It does appear that we now can run things. Oh, I see the control and backtick. I figured out this is the control and backtick. It goes from here to highlight. That's what I want, I think. Oh, yes. And I don't even need that stuff. I hide this part. Yeah. That's what I wanted it to do. try the toggle again. I think I have that. I think I got this set up the way I want it to work now. And so here's my code. And if I run this again, it totally brings up the terminal and we get to see what's going on there. Boom. That is what we wanted to know. There we go. Yes, yes. Anyhow, that's what I wanted to work on today and everything when you do a live stream. This is what I've said before. So I used to mow my lawn on Amazon Live. I used to set up printers on Amazon Live. I did all sorts of things. And when I mowed my lawn, I always say it takes me 45 minutes to mow my lawn if I just go out in the back, if I just go on the yard and get my mower and do it. But if I live stream it, it takes me 2 hours to get the lawn done. And my guess is coding and live streaming is much the same way. What takes you a half an hour by your own, it takes you, an hour and a half when you're live streaming it. So that's just how it works. But what I wanted to know is what should I change my search term here? And this is probably a question for me, but if I want news for developers, developer type of news, I don't even know how good these search results are yet, which is why I need to put them into a web page so that it's a little bit easier to search and see the results. I just think that would make it an easier web page to read if I had the news appearing on a web page. It'd also be really great if I could make this web page, if I could type in search terms at the top and then it would just give me the news, because I don't know how comprehensive or how good the news it returns is. But what if I search for programming languages or software development? What does it give me for programming languages? If I type in programming languages, what's it going to give me for news? Coding versus programming. Which one is a better career? Chat G takes a college freshman C++ programming class. Well, so this is what I want to know. If I typed in programming languages, I kind of thought it would only give me news that had the word programming language in it. So this does appear to be better than I thought. It's smart enough to know that programming language means things like C++ and C and software development type of stuff. But Amazon dominated the first cloud era. The AI boom has kicked off cloud 2.0, and the company doesn't have a head start this time. No, they do not. Amazon is not winning the AI race currently. Yeah, but I think this is the stuff that I want to be able to talk about, bring up the news, and then talk about some of this stuff and see what's going on in there. It currently is formatted a little funky. Let me go back down here. It's hard to read. Let's indent the description. No, this is maybe a hokey way to indent, but it worked. Oh, I shrunk that down to make it big again. So there, it's maybe a little bit easier to read. Coding versus programming. Which one is a better career? Amazon's dominance. AI or IBM enables safe enterprises AI with Granite Foundation models. QCon San Francisco. What is QCon? Let me see. Can I click on this link? Open. Oh, it's a conference put on by InfoQ. Very nice. That makes sense. So that's what QCon is, but that's going on, it appears, this week in San Francisco. Anyhow, that's the news I wanted. Let me see if I can play around with a few of these different search terms of here. Programming languages actually did pretty good. Let's do software development. Spell it right. Let's run it. Brings up some stuff for me here. LiveX software, elevating your business with award-winning solutions. See, I don't know if that's really news, or that's just more like a press release from LiveX. And AI versus software outsourcing, that one might be interesting. Top 10 mobile app development companies. Some of this could be interesting. I think the programming languages was better. But that's what I need to play around with. What is that search term? And maybe it's a combine some ors in there to help me find some of the best news, or maybe I just need to be much more specific on it. Instead of software development, what if I type in Microsoft Azure development? You're going to return for that. So I don't know if I need to specify it, if I need to get as specific as one programming language, maybe. So this one says, is Infosys Microsoft partnership a step toward interoperability in the generative AI market? I have no idea. EPAM Systems becomes Microsoft's global managed enterprise system integrator partner. Microsoft launches Azure Data Manager for energy. I don't even know what Azure Data Manager is, but I maybe need to check that out. Domino's, the pizza place, I'm guessing, is working with Microsoft to build a proprietary AI assistant. That could be, I think that's Domino's as in the pizza place, but I don't know. So that one was okay. Honestly, I think programming languages was the best one I had so far. But I need to play around with those. Then I need to get them built into a website that I can monitor and update things on that. Also, I don't know. But here's my problem with the website thing. It's been a long time since I built the front end of a website, and I don't think I've ever built a React app or a Next.js app. I'll probably use Next.js. It sounds like it's pretty close to React, except Next.js is a little bit more focused on build things on the back end before you send them to the client. So I'll probably go Next.js is my thought, but I'm going to try to figure out how to build a Next.js app. And so maybe by Friday on my live show, we'll maybe put together some Next.js type of stuff and see if I can get that working. I don't know how long it'll take to get that to go. I also think I'm probably going to have to set up an Azure function in the background that runs on a daily basis and brings me back the news. And then my front end can just call that or just reference that JSON that it creates once a day. But I think that's where I'm going to wrap up the show, because I can hear the rest of the kids and people at my house are up and having breakfast. And doing all that stuff. So I think I'm going to call it quits there. Zvonimir says, I will help out. Next.js plus Tailwind is a good choice. I've never used Tailwind, but I've also decided that when I start to do these live streams, this is maybe an excellent time for me to start learning some of these tips, tools, new tricks, new things. So maybe Next.js plus Tailwind is a good choice. Zvonimir says, I'll help out. That's kind of what I thought. So, and I think as a live streaming show, it might be fun for some people to stop in every now and then. I think it'll be fun on the show, and we'll see how long I continue to do some of these live shows. It might just be entertaining for people to stop by and see what Ryan is building this week, what technologies Ryan is talking about, what's going on in the news. I don't anticipate that there's going to be a lot of people that will stop in and watch the entirety of my morning show. But if it's a nice place to stop by and visit, that's kind of what I'm shooting for. Stop in, say hello. You can say hello to me. Hopefully, as I do this more, there might be some other people in the chat. Say hi to some of those people, and then maybe go on with the rest of your day. So that's the plan. Vladimir says Chat GPT-4 is also good at generating pages. Is that generating pages with? I don't know much about Tailwind. Like I know it's kind of seen as a replacement for Bootstrap, but I don't think it's. I think it's not exactly the replacement for Bootstrap, but it allows you to set up your CSS a little bit better. So Chat GPT, I'll have to get in to some of that later on, but this could be an interesting way for people to stop by and tell Ryan how to build things better. Anyhow, that is where I'm going to end the show for today. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Zvonimir, thanks for hanging out and chatting for a little bit. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Don't forget tomorrow on Threads. Follow me on Threads at ryan.swanstrom. L Unchained will be my Threads dev interview for tomorrow. All about writing and the creative process. We're going to have some questions on that. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a fantastic rest of your day. You can find me on Threads or LinkedIn throughout most of the day. So have a good one. Goodbye.